If ever there were a political story to make you both laugh and despair, it's Nigel Farage volunteering to help Lord Mandelson secure better relations. I can barely do this. It's Lord Mandelson helping. Is Farage helping Lord Mandelson to secure better relations with Donald Trump? This is the man who has turned self-promotion into an art form, attempting to spin every scenario, no matter how tangential, into a self-promotion, into a narrative that keeps him relevant. And the offer to assist Mandelson, a Labour peer, and now an ambassador to the US, underscores Farage's perennial motto, "What's in it for Nigel?" Farage claims his personal relationships with Trump's allies could help Britain avoid trade tariffs. It's a compelling image, Nigel, the champion of Brexit, swooping in to save the nation from the economic mire his own policies helped create. This is like asking a pyromaniac to assist the fire brigade. Farage's Brexit advice has proven less than profitable, indeed catastrophic for the UK economy. Trade has been hampered, investment is down, and businesses have relocated. And he could say, well, I didn't make the decision, you voted for it. It's true, and here he is portraying himself as the saviour who can fix what he helped to break. And Farage has always excelled at selling a vision, much like a dodgy car salesman peddling a clapped-out motor as a vintage collectible. He's made a career of convincing voters to act against their own interests. Brexit was his masterpiece. He promised sovereignty and prosperity, but he's delivered red tape, lost markets, a shrinking economy. Well, it wasn't done right. Now he wants us to believe he's the indispensable intermediary between Britain and Trump's America. It's a tantalising pitch, isn't it? But we have to scrutinise the small print. First, what has Farage ever done for Britain? What has Farage done for Britain? His track record is remarkably barren. Brexit's benefits remain elusive. And whenever he's challenged, whenever any of his supporters are challenged, he claims none of the fallout is his fault. Well, I did do it. Theresa May, Liz Truss. If a trade deal with Trump materialises and is successful, Farage will claim the glory. If it fails, he'll disavow responsibility faster than you can say WTO terms. He'll say, well, it's the fault of Mandelson. I'm not the ambassador. I'm just helping. It's a pattern we've seen before. Farage thrives on attention and influence but shirks accountability. This is a perfect pitch for Farage. I cannot lose, you can hear him say. Secondly, let's not ignore the absurdity of the situation. Lord Mandelson, a consummate political operator, even if he's borrowed someone else's car, has suggested swallowing pride to utilise Farage's connections. Mandelson's pragmatism is understandable, given the stakes. A looming trade war with Trump's tariff-first administration. But the optics are appalling. Farage has spent years lambasting Labour, yet now he's offering his services in the national interest. This sudden magnanimity reeks of opportunism, not altruism. Farage insists that Trump respects him and will listen to him. Perhaps, but Trump's respect is fickle, based more on flattery than substance, and Trump values strength, not civility, and Farage's track record hardly inspires confidence. Furthermore, let's not forget Farage's relationship with reality TV mogul Mark Burnett, now Trump's special envoy to the UK. This isn't diplomacy. It's a bizarre episode of The Apprentice with Farage auditioning for the role of middleman extraordinaire. You might as well put Piers Morgan in this frame. At least Piers Morgan and Mark Burnett have had things in common. Farage's media appearances, particularly, well, he wasn't there, but his roasting by Gemma Forty on LBC, highlight another truth. He thrives in environments that prioritise entertainment over expertise, and Forty aptly described him as a figure good for clicks, headlines and talk shows, but utterly lacking in substance when it comes to actual policy and implementation. Labour and Mandelson in particular should be wary of elevating Farage's status. Engaging him risks legitimising his Reform UK party, which, despite Farage's bravado, remains electorally insignificant. Should I repeat that? I'm insignificant, Farage might say. Insignificant. So where does this leave us? Farage's voice seems to be changing into Bruce Forsyth. I'm so sorry. Where does this leave us? Britain needs strong leadership to navigate Trump's unpredictable trade policies. It doesn't need Nigel Farage playing unofficial ambassador. His involvement would likely muddy the waters rather than clarify them. Labour must approach Trump with a mix of firmness and diplomacy. But relying on Farage is a mistake. He's not an asset, he's a liability wrapped up in his own charisma, his own self-interest. Farage's offer to help is, at its core, a pitch to stay relevant. He's the ultimate spiv, slick, persuasive, and utterly focused on his own gain. Buy a watch. Britain deserves better than a man whose greatest contribution to public life has been making Nigel Farage the headline. It's time to encourage Nigel Farage to do some work and run his own party. I'd ideally run his own party aground, but it's enough. It's enough. So he's now going to play pseudo-ambassador. I can't imagine he's going to be happy doing that for very long. This is an absurd proposal. It's an absurd proposition by Mandelson. That doesn't surprise me greatly. But it's an absurd proposition by Farage as well. This is nonsense. This is headline grabbing when the news is weak, limp.